South Mississippi. WLOX News Weekend.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Garcia. This week, the Mississippi State Department of Health announced it will spend $8.5 million to help combat obesity and chronic diseases that plague our state. But the health department is not alone in encouraging people to discover healthier living. A Moss Point church is also launching a new campaign called Fit for the Kingdom. Danielle Thomas has more on our top story.
So that's the main thing, is you always want this number to be lower than 140.
The mission of the Moss Point Visionary Circle is to educate people about how to take better care of their bodies. Dozens of registered nurses formed a volunteer group in response to Hurricane Katrina and soon realized the needs of the people went beyond rebuilding their homes.
And our purpose was to help rebuild our community. And during the process, we discovered that there were a lot of people out here with health issues.
Some of those health challenges that have the nurses so concerned are diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So they volunteer their time at health fairs like this one at Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Moss Point.
We do blood pressures, we do blood sugars, we do height, weight, and body mass index. We do eye screening, we do prostate education, and colon cancer screening.
Church members say the Fit for the Kingdom campaign grew out of concern over the growing number of church members and community members becoming ill.
The Young Women's Department actually decided that we were just going to do something about it. So our theme has been Fit for the Kingdom, because we're looking at making sure that, our members have a healthy mind, body, and soul. And so today just marked the first of many events for us to actually concentrate on our health.
And they want people to make better choices starting now. In Moss Point, Danielle Thomas, WLOX News.
Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church kicked off the campaign with a walk this morning. The church plans to host health education sessions every month. A pilot in Mississippi is feeling lucky after surviving a plane crash with only minor injuries. It happened this afternoon at the Tupelo Regional Airport. Tupelo officials say the small single-engine plane was arriving from Birmingham and came down just short of the runway. Before colliding with a fence, the pilot was the only one on board and suffered minor cuts. The pilot was taken to Mississippi Medical Center for treatment. Your help is needed tonight in solving another Crime Stoppers cold case. This case is focused on the search for Tarkeela Goins. Karen Abernathy joins us now with details on what she's wanted for in Jackson County.
Tarkeela Goins was reportedly involved in a physical fight last August. It happened at night in the McDonald's parking lot on Denny Avenue in Pascagoula. Pascagoula investigators tell us Goins assaulted Terry Patton. That fight reportedly turned into a melee when several other people started throwing punches. Detectives say they have spoken to family members and friends of Goins, but so far have had no luck finding her. If you know her whereabouts or are able to help identify the other people who took part in this fight, you are asked to call Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers at 1-877-787-5895.
Thanks, Karen. It was a day of cleanup at Grand Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve in Moss Point. Volunteers came out early this morning to clean up the reserve, hoping to give a clean look to the natural beauty that the reserve displays. The event was supported by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. People of all ages came out to participate in the cause.
Well, we want to make sure we take care of our fragile ecosystem. Too much is given, much is required. So we want to be good stewards of what we have, and it's very fragile, and we want to make sure we maintain it.
The cleanup was going to include kayaks on the bayou, but the water levels were too low this morning. They hope to hold another public cleanup soon. Nearly 50 children from a dozen different countries were treated to a complimentary show and lunch at the Beau Rivage. The children are with the nonprofit Children's International Summer Villages and have been in South Mississippi since June. From touring coastal attractions to taking part in holidays like the 4th of July, the children are getting a feel for the southern part of the U.S. Beau Rivage's manager of legal and community affairs says when they received a donation request several months ago asking them to help with dinner, the casino was more than happy to comply.
And we decided that we wanted to give them an experience before they went back to their country. So we have invited them to the show, our wonderful show, and they're going to eat afterwards at the Beau Rivage. And our initiative at MGM and Beau Rivage is very much diversity. So what better way to celebrate diversity than with CISV, the Children's International Summer Village.
The children say they not only enjoy the cuisine here on the coast, but they also enjoy how much there is to do. Parts of the coast have seen a few showers. Can we expect any more overnight? Let's go to meteorologist Joel Young for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, some of us have seen showers. Most of those have stayed well north of I-10. Let me show you where some of those are right now. At the moment, we have one that's straddling the Perry County and Stone County line just to the north and east of Wiggins. One was popping up to the south and west, but that's starting to fall apart as it starts to move into the Wiggins area. But look, we're seeing most of these showers and storms to our west and to our east. We're actually seeing a little bit of clearing over much of South Mississippi. So we may actually see a period of time overnight that will stay dry. 75 will be around the low, and then 78 by the early morning hours with those showers and storms returning to the forecast. And that's what it looks like through much of the Saturday, a better chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, overnight it will be partly cloudy. Of course, I'll have full details in your full 7-day forecast here in just a few moments.
Thanks, Joel. Various performers are entertaining crowds at the second annual Gospel Palooza today in downtown Bay St. Louis. Beginning with the Rochelle Harper Band, the event benefits the nonprofit Pneuma Winds of Hope, as well as their outreach program, Starfish Cafe. This morning, volunteers were out at the event helping to set up. Pneuma Executive Director Diana Philhart says the organization helps young adults 18 to 30 gain job and life skills. She says that's why benefits like this concert are so important.
You know what, I came 10 days after Katrina, and one of the things the last 8 years that has really bothered me a lot is how hard it is for young adults to get traction. And I really think a lot of it is when you look at resiliency models and how people bounce back quickly. The kids that are 18 to 30 years old right now are the people that lost their adolescence after Katrina. So
the event ends tonight at 9. Many people came to the coast on summer vacation, but Greg Crawford came for a pit stop on his cross-country travel on a bicycle. And he's cycling for a cure, hoping to raise awareness and money to find a cure for the disease called Niemann-Pick type C. It's a neurodegenerative disease that typically kills children before they turn 12 or 13. Crawford is the Dean of Science at the University of Notre Dame and felt called to start this cross-country ride in 2010 because the Notre Dame football coach, Ara Parsegian, had 3 grandchildren who died from the disease. He caught up with Crawford early this morning before he set out for his 110-mile ride for the day.
Well, this year is different because we're very excited about what's possible here this year. One of our chemists, Professor Paul Hellquist, actually discovered a drug in the laboratory that works on the Niemann-Pick cell line. And so the fundraising this year is going to be all put forth towards clinical trials for this new drug.
Crawford will go a total of 3,500 miles in 33 days. For more information on his cause, visit our website, WLOX.com. Coming up, we meet a same-sex couple who was legally married in Vermont and now resides in the state of Mississippi. And later, it takes more than just plants to make the perfect garden.
Sponsored in high definition exclusively by Gardner Law Firm, the lawyer to call for bankruptcy and debt counseling.
Same-sex marriage is legal in Mississippi, but the debate over marriage equality is heating up. On Monday, 2 gay couples applied for marriage licenses in Hinds County Court. It's spurring a brand new discussion about gay marriage in the state. So what's next? ABC's Keegan Fox talked to a married gay couple living in Mississippi.
Meet Kevin and his husband Daniel. Both men grew up in Mississippi and now live south of Jackson as a married couple.
I actually turned down the first date with my now husband because he was an Ole Miss fan.
Kevin and Daniel started dating 10 years ago. They were married, surrounded by family in 2010 in Vermont, a state that recognizes gay marriage. But in Mississippi, the couple often feels the need to hide their status. Daniel asked us not to reveal his real name, his identity, or even the city where they live, for fear he could lose his job for being gay.
I work with some wonderful people, but in the state of Mississippi, there are no protections. I mean, a company could literally fire you just because of who you are.
Kevin wears a wedding band, but Daniel does not. It's an effort to avoid what he calls innocent conversation that could cause too many questions.
And people are like, Where's your wife work? Who are your kids?
Kids would be a dream come true for this couple, but adoption is illegal for same-sex couples in Mississippi. Kevin and Daniel also don't get tax breaks as a married couple since the state does not recognize their marriage. So why stay in Mississippi?
Honestly, that's true. We could leave. Both of us have jobs that we could transfer, but this is where our home is.
My parents are here. My grandparents are here. His parents are here. I mean, his mother's battling breast cancer right now. I mean, what's wrong with us wanting to be within an hour of our whole family?
The couple says they respect people who don't share their views.
It's important for you to come out, not because you're trying to push it in somebody's face, but it's important for you to come out because it's hard for them to hate you when they know you.
Kevin says he thinks Mississippi is changing. He says things are different here than a decade ago when he first met Daniel.
Gay and lesbian Americans are not just going to go away because you may live in a state that doesn't have it. You know, I think we are seeing progress every single day.
That progress includes a new push for marriage equality in a conservative southern state, even though Mississippi residents voted to ban gay marriage almost a decade ago. Monday, a movement called We Do coordinated this effort at the Hinds County Courthouse.
We do know the laws of the state of Mississippi does not recognize same gender.
Kevin and Daniel do think they'll live to see marriage equality in Mississippi. They believe it will eventually come in the form of a lawsuit filed against the state by a same-sex couple.
And that same-sex couple is going to win.
But that couple will not be Kevin and Daniel. They're living a peaceful life south of Jackson and relying on their faith.
And yeah, we've had people to say, well, do you consider yourself a Christian? Well, the Bible says I am. You know, and well, what says that? Well, because it says for all who call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So, you know, you're not going to change everyone's mind. And I think, again, that just comes with time.
The Harrison County Fairgrounds got a little noisy today. We'll check out some fast-moving vehicles that hit the dirt this afternoon. That's up next in sports.
The Open Championship in Scotland, Miguel Jimenez had the lead heading into today's third round, but the warm-up routine didn't help him at all. 6 over for the day, 3 over for the tournament. Hunter Mahan shot a 3 under 68. He's in a tie for second place. Birdied this par 4 to get back-to-back birds. He's tied with Tiger. He had a decent day, but he wasn't as good as he needed to be. That's because Lee Westwood takes the lead into the final round at the Open Championship. And those go-kart races, pretty exciting stuff.
Now, did you actually get to drive one of the go-karts?
No, but one of our co-workers did.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to find out.
You will.
Thanks, Tyler. Stick around. Joel Young has got an update on the forecast when WLX News Weekend continues.
Joel Young.
Welcome back. Well, it's the 20th of July, and we're in the middle of that typical summertime pattern where we see scattered showers and thunderstorms. And if you don't see the showers and thunderstorms, it's just hot and humid, and that's certainly been the case today in South Mississippi. We've seen some scattered showers, mostly in the northern 3 counties of our 6 counties here in South Mississippi. Most of those really in Stone County. One of those is pushed now into southern Perry County. We had one that popped up just to the south and west of Wiggins, but notice that has just fallen apart because we've started to cool down just a little bit thanks to a little bit of rain-cooled air. Notice to our east and our west, we have showers and thunderstorms, and we're starting to see that clearing, especially over Harrison and Jackson counties. So starting to see a little bit of sunshine, and that's really warming us up. As we go into the overnight tonight, though, still can't rule out the slight possibility of a isolated thunderstorm. Otherwise, it will be partly cloudy and muggy. 79 degrees is what it looks like it will be in the evening, and of course dropping from then on as we go into the overnight. 82 degrees right now in Bay St. Louis at the Hollywood Casino. We picked up about 3/100 of an inch of rain. Haven't picked up any in Biloxi at the Boomtown Casino. Navigator Credit Union in Pascagoula, we picked up 7/100 of an inch. And we picked up about 1/100 of an inch in Lucedale, now sitting at about 81 degrees there at Singing River Electric. It's looking dry right now at the Edgewater Mall Tower Camp at Bowview Condominiums. You can see the blue skies out there. looking at the IP tower cam at the IP Casino Resort and Spa, overlooking the Back Bay, you can see those thunderstorms just firing up just to the north of us. Not really anything really big to talk about, but still you can see it there from our tower cam. All of this is thanks to the southwesterly flow that we've seen over the past day or so. We have this cluster of thunderstorms, not expecting anything to really develop into anything tropical, but we do have this cluster of convection in the northwestern Gulf that is pushing in to our area. So that's the reason why we're seeing such a moist pattern over the next couple of days. We'll see a chance of some showers and storms mostly as we go into the day tomorrow. The overnight does look dry for the most part. As we go into the overnight, looks like we'll see maybe partly cloudy skies, and then in the early morning we'll see some showers and storms pop up right along the coast. Those will become a little bit more widespread into the afternoon, then start to die off once again as we go into Sunday night. Maybe isolated thunderstorms inland, then those start to roll back into the forecast on Monday. Again, that's that summertime pattern that we just see here in South Mississippi. 71 for our overnight low in Leakesville, 75 in Gulfport, 75 in Waveland. As we go into the early morning hours, 78 in Gulfport, 78 in Biloxi as well, 79 in Waveland. As we go into the afternoon hours tomorrow, high of about 87 in Biloxi and Gulfport, lower 90s as you go inland away from the waters. If you're going offshore, keep in mind winds will be out of the southwest about 10 to 15 knots, seas at about 2 to 3 feet, so it'll be choppy here and there, especially as we go into some showers and thunderstorms. Does look like lesser chances of showers and storms in the middle of next week. Highs generally in the upper 80s and lower 90s.
Well, I guess I'll need my umbrella again tomorrow.
Yeah, looks like it, just in case.
Well, thanks, Joel. Still to come, it takes more than plans to make a garden pop. Dr. Gary Bachman explains next. Gardens don't always feature just flowers. In this week's Southern Gardening, Dr. Gary Bachman will show how some hardscapes can add interest to our landscapes.
As we travel around the state sharing the sights of Southern gardening, I always come away with ideas for my garden and landscape. Today we're visiting our friend Kathy to see what new ideas she's come up with. When visiting Kathy, it's quite apparent that the plants are not the only stars in her garden and landscape. They get lots of support from various hardscape materials. The most prominent supporting character is this garden path entranceway. The blocks appear to be dry stacked without mortar, but in reality, urethane cement is used to hold the blocks together. One of the most unique ideas I've seen is the pocket planting around the fire pit on the paver patio. Kathy has modified plastic planting trays to fit in the openings of the stacked paver stones. One area of her landscape always had problems establishing a good stand of grass. Kathy's solution was to install a dry creek bed. 2 to 3 inches of crushed limestone was applied to act as the creek. And Kathy even has a small bridge to complete the illusion. But we can't leave this beautiful garden without taking a look at a few plant combinations. One of the most attractive is the Echolipha firetails, with its red tassels and the dark green foliage with carmine red veins of bloody sorrel. A ground cover plant I'm finding more and more versatile is Lysomachia or creeping jenny. Here it provides the background for bright red caladium, the sunny yellow of rudbeckia, and the white flowers of the radicans variegated gardenia. Don't be afraid to use your imagination to make your garden and landscape more interesting. I'm horticulturist Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can get WLOX News anytime on our website, WLOX.com. We'll see you at 10.